What school would you go to become a mother? There is no Parents 101, is there? At FITTV, we wonder why not. Knowledge in parenting is not something we're born with. It is primarily a learned experience over time. Parenting is a place where making mistakes is costly. My guests today are from the Mother Center, where women can connect, be educated, share, and support other mothers who want to be better at what the present and future might otherwise provide. I have with me as my guest Linda Lisi Juergens from, is it Lisi Juergens? Okay, from the Executive Director, of NAMC, which is the National Association of Mother Center, and Catherine Wright, Membership Development Director from the National Association of Mother Center. What is the National Association of Mother Centers? And either one of you would.
The NAMC is the leading organization that focuses on the challenges, the realities, and the importance of parenting, of mothering and parenting. And it also is the collective voice for moms and their needs, which aren't always taken care of or addressed. People assume you know what you're doing. You know, moms don't need help unless they have some deficit, you know, drugs or homelessness or something like that. And that we don't believe that that's the case. We feel that everyone who is a parent can use support around their caregiving work.
Primarily specific to women. You do have...
Well, it was decided to call it a Mother Center because it grew out of a research project looking at the needs of moms. A social worker named Patsy Turini in the 70s, in her practice, heard mothers who were her patients describe a lowering of their self-esteem in the 2 years after they either had a baby or adopted a baby. And she was curious about what that was about. So she created a research project, and 40 women participated in discussions about what their experience was, their real experience, not the Hallmark card kind of, you know, I love my baby kind of thing, which they did, but, you know, the reality of it. And when that research project was over, they realized that they felt that their role as a mother was not valued by society. It was kind of a given that you would do it and you do it well and you didn't need any assistance with it or any information. So about 17 of the women who participated decided that the group experience of discussing these things was so helpful to them that they wanted to share it with other women. So they took a year to work on a model of a program, and they called it the Mother Center because it was the mothers who wanted it, the mothers who created it, and it also grew a little bit out of the women's health movement of the 70s. So there was a strong focus on pregnancy and delivery. Although they did recognize that fathers might want and need support also, so there was a fathers discussion group that was created in the 70s, and we have had a small number of fathers interested in that type of person-to-person dialogue.
How do they fit in? Because
well, we've had a fathers group.
Yeah.
Just for fathers, with a father facilitating.
Called, and that's still the Mother Center, and...
It's still the Mother Center, right.
And the Father's
just
branch?
The Father's Auxiliary.
Okay.
You know, and then some of the centers over the years have expanded their programming. It's not just discussion groups. They have Mommy and Me programs or Daddy and Me programs where you attend with your child and do age-appropriate activities with a teacher. So some of the centers have done those on Saturdays so the dads can participate also. It doesn't have to be just the moms together or just the dads. It can be both. We are not problem solvers in the sense that we're going to hear your story and tell you exactly what to do. That's almost the antithesis of what we stand for. We want you to know lots of different choices that you may have in your circumstances, and how we bring those different choices is by having other people share similar experiences. So you can go home and say, gee, you know, that person did XYZ in a similar situation. That sounds like a good idea to me. I'll try that. But no one is going to say you should do this or you should do that. And that's part of what people learn in our program. How to communicate, how to listen very well and communicate without judgment.
It's not about commiserating. You know, that's really not what it's about, bringing mothers together. It's bringing mothers together so that they can be heard, so that they can express their anxieties, their worries, their concerns, which largely become about themselves and their capacity as a mother, their ability as a mother. And actually, there are guiding principles that the mother centers are based on to actually mitigate that kind of gripe session that you're talking about, because it's about setting up a non-judgmental atmosphere where everyone's heard, people listen without judging anything that's said, and as Linda was saying, no one's going to tell anybody what they should do. They're just expressing their experiences and sharing their experiences. So really, because of the guiding principles and the way the facilitators are taught, that'll cut that sort of conversation, dead.
The facilitators are trained, and we try to communicate information about normal child development, because a lot of anxiety comes about because you're not really sure, is this normal for my child to be doing at this age? And once you hear what is normal, then it helps you to deal with whatever you're dealing with your child. Plus, if you hear 4 other people who have 2-year-olds and they're all doing the same thing, it relieves your anxiety. Because sometimes if you're isolated in your parenting, which many people, especially in suburbia, are, some people live far from their parents and don't have any support system or backup. So, and some people just never really dealt with children until they had their own. So they're not really sure what's normal, what to expect, and it's relieving to hear that kids sometimes do have temper tantrums. I want to kind of debunk the idea that some people have that it's like a coffee clutch and the moms come and complain about the dads, and that's not the tenor of our conversation.
Good,
in fact, what we try to make sure we cover is that in order for the dad to feel connected, you have to let him take some of the responsibility for the children. Sometimes a mom who's just given birth, you've carried the baby for 9 months, and you feel very, very vulnerable and very responsible. And it's hard for you to let somebody else take care of the baby, even the baby's dad. So we talk about that, like it's necessary. And dad may not do the things the way you do them, and that's fine. It's not wrong, it's just different. And children benefit from having more caregivers in this that are really attached to them. That's partly what our job as a national office is to bring information, bring the latest research, bring that to the local centers so that the women can access that.
Catherine, this is a resource center, in a sense.
Absolutely.
You work on, according to the notes here, developing communication skills and confidence in parenting.
Right. The way the discussion group outlines are formulated and the way the facilitators are trained, it really helps them to model a form of communication that's accepting. It's a non-hierarchical structure that they're working in, so it's peer facilitation. Nobody's the outstanding leader per se, but everybody gets to participate, and they're really encouraged to learn from one another. The thing with the mother centers, and the reason that it is focused on mothers, is that women are generally more likely to look for this kind of a group than men are. The impact on the fathers is tremendous. I mean, for example, I'll give you a story. We had our open house back in October, and we had some people come in to give testimonials, and there was a father who his wife was in a mother center 20 or 30 years ago, and he was very passionate about sharing his story. Because when they had their first child, something that you would think is very typical and very normal, their baby was colicky. But at the end of the day, his wife would be stressed, not being able to wait another minute to hand the baby over to him. Meanwhile, he'd been working all day and all he wanted to do was come home and kick back, right? So it was stressing their marriage. Well, she joined a mother center and she was able to find solutions. She was able to find peace. She was able to get a break that only helped support their marriage in being stronger instead of being impacted with stress.